Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Friday, July 27th, 2018. Today I'm going to talk about the baseball games from yesterday, look ahead to tonight's slate of games, go over a couple trades that happened yesterday, a few big injuries that happened in baseball as well, and I'll do my 2009 NBA ReDraft, and there's a possible NFL season-ending injury for one of the best defensive backs in the NFL. All right, let's start with baseball. The Cubs came from behind to beat the Diamondbacks 7-6 as they improved to 60-42. The Diamondbacks dropped to 56-48. Eddie Butler improves to 1-1. Brad Boxberger drops to 1-4. Bottom of the second, RBI single. Kyle Schwarber 1-0 Cubs. Top of the fourth, 2-run home run. Al Avila 2-1 Diamondbacks. Top of the fifth, grand slam, Nick Ahmed, 6-1 Diamondbacks. Bottom of the fifth, RBI single, Anthony Rizzo made it 6-2. Albert Almora Jr. safe at first on the error by Danny Descalso. A run scores. 6-3. Bottom of the sixth. A run scores on a wild pitch after Javier Baez strikes out. That made it a 6-4 game. Bottom of the ninth, game-tying home run, David Bott, 6-6. Walk-off home run, Anthony Rizzo, 7-6. Cubs win. Tyler Chatwood, not good. 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 4 runs, 6 walks, 4 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 4.98 ERA. Zach Godley, 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 4.73 ERA. The Angels defeated the White Sox 12-8 as they improved to 52-52. Chicago drops to 36-66. Nick Tropiano improves to 4-5. Dylan Covey drops to 4-6. Top of the first, home run Jose Abreu, 1-0 White Sox. Bottom of the first, home run Cole Calhoun ties up at 1 apiece. Top of the second, home run Daniel Palka, 2-1 White Sox. Bottom of the third, RBI single Justin Upton, 2-2. Bottom of the fourth, home run Ian Kinsler, 3-2 Angels. Bottom of the fifth, 3-run triple and Drelton Simmons. And Simmons actually scores on the error by Tim Anderson to make it a 6-2 Angels lead. Top of the seventh, the White Sox make it interesting. 3 straight home runs. Avisail Garcia, Daniel Palka, Nicky Delmonico makes it 6-5. Bottom of the seventh, a home run, a 3-run shot. Francisco Arcia makes it a 9-5 Angels lead. Top of the eighth, RBI single, Leury Garcia makes it 9-6. Bottom of the eighth, the Angels break away. RBI double, Justin Upton, 10-6. RBI double, Ian Kinsler, 11-6. RBI single, Francisco Arcia, 12-6 Angels. Top of the ninth, 2-run home run, Jose Abreu, 12-8. That's your final. Nick Tropiano, 6 in the third innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 4.82 ERA. Dylan Covey, 4 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 5.4 ERA. The Yankees defeated the Royals 7-2 as they improved to 65-36. Casey drops to 31-71. Sonny Gray improves to 8-7. Jacob Junis drops to 5-11. Bottom of the first, sacrifice fly Giancarlo Stanton, 1-0 Yanks. Fielder's choice, Gleyber Torres. Run scores on an error, 2-0 Yanks. Bottom of the fourth, RBI double, Austin Romine, 3-0 Yanks. 3-run home run, Didi Gregorius, 6-0 Yanks. Bottom of the fifth, sacrifice fly, Greg Bird, 7-0 Yanks. Top of the sixth, home run, Salvador Perez. Made it 7-2. That was your final. Sonny Gray, 5 innings, 3 hits, no home runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Leaves the game 5.08 ERA. He left the game early because he got hit in the hand on a ground ball that got past him for a base hit. Jacob Junis, 4 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game with 5.06 ERA. The Phillies defeated the Reds 9-4 as they improved to 58-44. Cincinnati drops to 45-58. Ranger Suarez improves to 1-0. Michael Lorenzen drops to 1-1. Top of the first, home run Rhys Hoskins, 1-0 Phillies. 2-run home run Carlos Santana, 3-0 Phillies. Bottom of the first, 2-run home run Eugenio Suarez made it 3-2. Top of the third, home run Nick Williams made it 4-2 Phils. Bottom of the fourth, home run Tucker Barnhart tied it at 4 apiece. Top of the fifth, home run Maikel Franco, 5-4 Phils. Top of the 6th, home run Rhys Hoskins, his second of the game. 6-4 Phils. Top of the 7th, home run Maikel Franco, his second of the game. 7-4 Phils. Top of the 8th, RBI single Cesar Hernandez, 8-4 Phils. Top of the 9th, home run Nick Williams, his second of the game. 9-4 Phils is your final. Ranger Suarez, 5 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 7.2 ERA. That was his first start of the year. Tyler Mahle is pretty much an opener in this one. An inning, 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts, leaves the game with 4.53 ERA. Michael Lorenzen in relief, 4 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with 2.79 ERA. The Rays defeated the Orioles 4-3 as they improved to 53-50. The Orioles dropped to 29-74. Ryan Yarbrough improves to 9-5. Alex Cobb drops to 2-14. Austin Brewer gets his second save of the year. Top of the 4th, RBI single Jake Bauers, 1-0 Rays. RBI single Jai-Man Choi, 2-0 Rays. Bottom of the 5th, home run Jonathan Scope, a 2-run shot, ties it up at 2 apiece. Top of the 7th, RBI single Adini Hechavarria, 3-2 Rays. Matt Duffy safe on first base on the throwing error by the pitcher. A run scores. Made it 4-2 Rays. Bottom of the 8th, home run Chris Davis. Made it a 4-3 game. That was your final. Hunter Wood was the opener. An inning and 2/3 a hit. No earned runs, a walk, 3 strikeouts. Leaves the game 2.65 ERA. Ryan Yarbrough in middle relief. 4 1/3 innings. 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, no strikeouts. Leaves the game with an ERA of 3.67. Alex Cobb, 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 6.08 ERA. The Mets defeated the Pirates 12-6 as they improved to 43-57. Pittsburgh drops to 53-51. Steven Matz improves to 5-8. Nick Kingham drops to 5-5. Top of the 1st, 2-run home run Wilmer Flores, 2-0 Mets. Bottom of the 1st, home run David Freese, 2-run shot, ties up at 2 apiece. Top of the 2nd, RBI double Esteban Cabrera, 3-2 Mets. Top of the 3rd, sacrifice fly Davin Mesoraco, 4-2 Mets. Bottom of the 3rd, 2-run home run Josh Harrison, ties it at 4 apiece. Top of the 4th, 2-run home run Esteban Cabrera, 6-4 Mets. Devin Marasco reaches on the error by David Freese, a run scores, 7-4 Mets. Top of the 7th, RBI single Ahmed Rosario, 8-4 Mets. RBI ground out is Esteban Cabrera, 9-4 Mets. Ahmed Rosario scores on a wild pitch, 10-4 Mets. Bottom of the 7th, RBI triple Jordan Luplow, made it a 10-5 game. Top of the 8th, sacrifice fly Matt Dendecker, 11-5 Mets. Top of the 9th, sacrifice fly Wilmer Flores, 12-5 Mets. Bottom of the 9th, RBI double Adam Frazier, made it 12-6. That was your final. Steven Matz pitched pretty good. 6 innings, 3 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.79 ERA. Nick Kingham, 3 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 walks, and a strikeout. Leaves the game with a 4.8 ERA. The Twins defeated the Red Sox 2-1 as they improved to 48-53. The Red Sox dropped to 71-33. Kyle Gibson improves to 5-7. Matt Barnes drops to 3-3. Fernando Rodney gets his 22nd save of the season. Bottom of the 2nd, grounder into a double play by Mookie Betts. A run scores 1-0 Sox. Top of the 7th, grounder into a double play by Erie Adrianza. A run scores, ties up at 1 apiece. Top of the 8th, the go-ahead RBI double. Mitch Garver, 2-1 Twins is your final. Kyle Gibson was outstanding. 8 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.42 ERA. Brian Johnson, 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.45 ERA. The Nationals defeated the Marlins 10-3 as they improved to 51-51. The Marlins dropped to 44-60. Justin Miller improves to 6-1. Adam Conley drops to 3-2. Bottom of the 1st, RBI double JT Realmuto, 1-0 Marlins. Sacrifice fly Justin Bour, 2-0 Marlins. RBI single Cam Maben, 3-0 Marlins. That was all the scoring for the Marlins. Top of the 4th, here come the Nats. Home run Trey Turner, 3-1. Home run Juan Soto, 3-2. Top of the 6th, RBI double Ryan Zimmerman, ties it up at 3 apiece. Top of the 7th, 2-run triple Trey Turner, 5-3 Nats. RBI double Bryce Harper, 6-3 Nats. 2-run double Matt Wieters, 8-3 Nats. And that was in the top of the 9th, as well as an RBI triple by Wilmer Difo that made it 9-3. Then an RBI double by Michael A. Taylor made it 10-3 Nats, and that was your final. Tommy Malone wasn't bad. 5 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 5.4 ERA. Dan Straley, 5 2/3 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 4.07 ERA. The Dodgers defeated the Braves 8-2 as they improved to 57-46. Atlanta drops to 54-45. Rich Hill improves to 4-4. Anibal Sanchez drops to 5-3. Top of the fifth, RBI ground out. Chris Taylor, 1-0 Dodgers. RBI single, Alex Verdugo, 2-0 Dodgers. Top of the sixth, home run, Manny Machado is first as the Dodgers, 3-0 Dodgers. Top of the seventh, RBI single, Rich Hill, 4-0 Dodgers. RBI single, Yasmani Grandal, that drove in 6-0 Dodgers. Top of the eighth, infield single, Jock Peterson. The second run scores on an error to make it 8-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the eighth, the 2 runs of the game came off the bat of Ronald Acuna Jr., a homer. They made it 8-2. That was your final. Rich Hill was great. 7 innings straight, no one runs, a walk, and 8 strikeouts. Leaves the game with a 3.82 ERA. Anibal Sanchez was not. 6 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Leaves the game with an ERA of 3. The A's defeated the Rangers 7-6 as they improved to 61-43. That's 6 straight wins for Oakland. Texas drops to 42-62. Trevor Cahill improves to 2-2. Bartolo Colon drops to 5-9. Blake Trinan gets his 27th save of the year. Top of the first, 2-run single, Chris Davis. Second run scores on the error, 2-0 Athletics. Bottom of the first, RBI single, Adrian Beltre to make it a 2-1 game. RBI ground out, Joey Gallo ties it up at 2 apiece. Top of the second, home run, Matt Chapman, 3-2 A's. Bottom of the second, RBI single, Sin-Soo Choo, 3-3. Top of the fourth, RBI triple, Dustin Fowler, 4-3 A's. RBI triple, Nick Martini, 5-3 A's. RBI single, Marcus Semien, 6-3 A's. Bottom of the fifth, 2-run triple, Jurickson Profar made it a 6-5 game. Top of the eighth, sacrifice fly, Jonathan Lucroy made it 7-5. Bottom of the eighth, wild pitch, Races Familia, run scores 7-6. Oakland, your final. Trevor Cahill, 5 innings, 7 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 3.43 ERA. Bartolo Colon, 7 innings, 9 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 5.02 ERA. The Brewers defeated the Giants 7-5 as they improved to 59-46. San Francisco drops to 52-52. Josh Hader improves to 3-0. Mark Melanson drops to 0-1. Corey Nebel gets his 13th save of the year. Top of the first, RBI ground out, Christian Yelich, 1-0 Brewers. Bottom of the second, RBI grounder into a double play by Hunter Pence. Run scores, ties it up at 1 apiece. RBI single, Steven Duggar, 2-1 Giants. Top of the sixth, home run, Christian Yelich, ties it up at 2 apiece. Top of the eighth, RBI single, Ryan Braun, 3-2 Brewers. RBI single, Eric Kratz, 4-2 Brewers. Bottom of the eighth, fielder's choice, Buster Posey made it 4-3. Top of the ninth, RBI single, Jesus Aguilar made it 5-3 Brewers. 2-run home run, Travis Shaw, 7-3 Brewers. Bottom of the ninth, Giants make it interesting. Sacrifice fly, Chase Darno, 7-4. RBI double, Andrew McCutchen made it 7-5, and that's your final. Wade Miley, 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, and a strikeout, leaves the game with a 2.01 ERA. Derek Rodriguez, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, leaves the game with a 2.75 ERA. Today's games, well, I should say tonight, you have Indians, Tigers, Carlos Carrasco and Mike Fiers, Royals, Yankees, Brad Keller and CC Sabathia, Rays, Orioles, Chris Archer and Andrew Kashner, Mets, Pirates, Jason Vargas and Ivan Nova, Twins, Red Sox, Lance Lynn and Chris Sale, Phillies, Reds, Nick Pivetta and Anthony Desclafani, Nationals, Marlins, Max Scherzer and Pablo Lopez, Dodgers, Braves at 7:30, Clayton Kershaw and Mike Falta-Units, 8 o'clock, Blue Jays, White Sox, Marcus Stroman and Reynaldo Lopez, Rangers, Astros, Yavani Gallardo and Dallas Keuchel, 8:15, Cubs, Cardinals, Mike Montgomery and Luke Weaver, 8:40, Athletics, Rockies, Sean Manaea and Kyle Freeland, 10 o'clock, Mariners, Angels, Wade LeBlanc and Andrew Heaney, Diamondbacks, Padres, Zach Greinke and Luis Perdomo, and 10:15, Brewers, Giants, you have Chase Anderson and Madison Bumgarner. All right, a couple trades happened yesterday. The first one sent Jay Happ to the New York Yankees for Brandon Drury and Billy McKinney. I think it's a fair trade on both sides. A lot of people view this as a win for Toronto because they were able to land Brandon Drury in the deal. Listen, I'm not a huge Brandon Drury fan. I think people are overhyping him a little bit. He's a nice player, but he's not like a franchise-changing type of player. He's a good role player. He has the upside of 20 homers. But that's okay. The Yankees have a 20-homer third baseman, potentially in Miguel Andujar, who I think has more upside than Brandon Drury. So there's nowhere for Drury on the roster because third base is occupied by Miguel Andujar, second base is occupied by Gleyber Torres, and first base is occupied by Greg Bird. So there's really no room for Drury on the roster, and he should be a regular player. Billy McKinney, I think, could be a everyday player at some point. But again, the Yankees had a surplus in outfield with Aaron Judge, who we'll get to in a moment, Giancarlo Stanton, Brett Gardner, Aaron Hicks, Clint Frazier, and somebody who hasn't played all season, Jacoby Ellsbury. So that's a big surplus of outfielders. So, yeah, you could debate whether it's an overpay or not, but the Yankees get a guy that's been in big games before. He's had a Jekyll and Hyde type of year for Toronto. He's had some good starts, had some bad starts. I jokingly like to call him just average Hap because he's either really, really good or really, really bad. So it's in the middle of that, just average. So he would slide right into the number 4 spot in their rotation. He's an upgrade over Domingo Germán. He's better than Sonny Gray. You can make a case he's even better than CC Sabathia. But Sabathia's had a really nice season for the Yankees. And he's been very reliable a lot, as well as Masahiro Tanaka, who pitched an absolute gem the other day in Tampa Bay, and he's their number 2 starter. And their number 1 guy is Luis Severino, who has struggled of late, but he's still the ace of that staff in New York. Another trade that happened yesterday was finalized today. Cole Hamels was traded from the Texas Rangers to the Chicago Cubs. I like this deal for the Cubs because they upgrade in their rotation. He can slide right into that number 2 spot behind John Lester. Yu Darvish has not been healthy this year. And he'll join Lester, Yu Darvish, who I just mentioned, Jose Quintana. So that's a good veteran 4 in that rotation. Eddie Butler goes to Texas in the trade, and he's shown some promise. He actually got the win for the Cubs yesterday. Butler will slide right into that Rangers rotation. There's a couple other players that went in that deal. There's a player to be named later in the deal as well. Johnny Venters, one of the openers for Tampa Bay, was traded to the Atlanta Braves for international slot money. I just think that Atlanta will use Venters as a reliever. And it's funny that the Rays are trading away a lot of guys. So if they traded Andriese and Venters, 2 guys that I did not expect them to move, then don't rule out the possibility of a Ryan Stanek, a Ryan Yarbrough, Wilmer Font, Austin Pruitt. Obviously, I think Sergio Romo is going to get moved to a contender. So we'll see about that. The Rays continue their fire sale or not. And they've got some nice prospects back for some. I like the guy that they got from Boston in the Evaldi deal, Jalen Beeks. He's shown a little bit of promise in the minors and on the major league level as well. And we'll see what else they can get for anything else they have on the market. Aaron Judge fractured his wrist yesterday on a hit by pitch in the bottom of the first inning off of Jacob Junis. He's out for 3+ weeks. I think this is a big blow for the Yankees if their offense stalls like it did in Tampa Bay. But if their offense had a night like it did last night, pretty much without Aaron Judge, I think they'll be fine. So I think it could go either way for them. This could cost them the division. Or on the flip side, if guys like Giancarlo Stanton and Greg Bird and Didi Gregorius step up like they did last night, then I think they're in good shape. And it's all about the starting pitching for me with the Yankees. I think that determines their fate, not their offense. And if there's a contender that could afford to lose a franchise player due to injury, it's the Yankees. Although I think the Astros have done a nice job without Carlos Correa in their lineup. And another big injury, I discussed it yesterday, was Chris Bryant. He's also on the disabled list. I think that is a huge loss for the Chicago Cubs. Although the Cubs did it without him yesterday. And the same case with Judge with the Yankees applies to the Cubs with Bryant. they need guys like Anthony Rizzo and Javier Baez and Albert Almora Jr. and Jason Hayward and Wilson Contreras and Kyle Schwarber to step up. Because to me, for the Cubs, same with the Yankees, I think their starting pitching determines their fate. And another big injury I didn't get to yet, Steven Strasburg on the disabled list. He was supposed to start yesterday, but instead Tommy Malone took his spot. He is out with a shoulder injury. We'll see how long he's out for. It's going to be interesting whether they're buyers or sellers. If Washington has a bad weekend in Miami, if they don't win this Marlins series, then I think there's a chance they're a seller and they can end up trading guys that are free agents in the fall, such as Kelvin Herrera, Ryan Madsen, maybe Sean Doolittle. And there's talks about Bryce Harper. I'd be absolutely flabbergasted if they traded Bryce Harper. I am watching MLB Network as I record this podcast. Joel Sherman speaking about whether the Nationals should be buyers or sellers. I think they are by far and away the most fascinating team to watch at Tuesday's deadline. I mentioned some of the relievers. Maybe they put Gio Gonzalez out on the market. Maybe. Who knows? I do not think they would trade Bryce Harper or Anthony Rendon or Max Scherzer. But there's talks that maybe they might if the right offer comes or if they continue to falter in the standings, because there's talks if you trade Harper even though he's in the contract year, why not look for offers for Max Scherzer or Anthony Rendon? But I doubt they'll trade those guys. If they trade anybody, I think it's probably going to be guys like Ryan Madsen, Kelvin Herrera, maybe Sean Doolittle, maybe Sean Kelly, maybe Ryan Kinsler. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Washington Nationals do at the trade deadline. I think that is the most fascinating team to watch, as I just mentioned. And we'll see how their weekend series against the Marlins goes. They won yesterday. And we'll see how the weekend goes, as I mentioned. All right. Before I get to my NBA redraft from 2009, huge NFL news. Jason Verrett suffered an injury during the conditioning test that might cost him his season. If that's the case, that's a huge blow for the Chargers. Big blow to their chances of winning the AFC West. There are a lot of people that think that the Chargers are going to win that division because they have the best quarterback in the division. They have perhaps the best defensive player in the division in Joey Bosa. And so it should be very interesting to see how long Verrett's out for. He's their best defensive back. And we'll talk more NFL once the season gets closer. I'm going to do my NFL over-unders on a podcast either next week or the following week. I forget how I set up my podcast schedule. Last, I'm going to do my NBA redraft from 2009. This is very interesting. A lot of stars and a lot of role players. Let's just get right to it. Number 1, Los Angeles Clippers, Steph Curry. Boy, history would have been different if Steph Curry was picked by the Clippers. They don't make the trade for Chris Paul. And things would have been a lot different in Clipperland and in Los Angeles basketball as well. 2, Grizzlies, James Harden. This was a huge mistake by the franchise at the time, taking Hasheem Thabeet. He was a bust. Should have taken James Harden. And he would have been a big part of that core with Gasol and Conley when they were at their peak. Maybe they would have won a championship if James Harden was in that backcourt with Mike Conley. Maybe James Harden would have been a better defensive player if he was on the Grizzlies rather than the Rockets or Oklahoma City. So maybe James Harden would have had a better reputation and career too. Not that James Harden has had a bad career. He's had a phenomenal NBA career, reigning MVP now. But maybe things would have been a little different for Harden if he ended up on Memphis. 3, Oklahoma City, Blake Griffin. He would have been with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. That would have been a fun big 3 to watch. He would have been in the Serge Ibaka spot on that team. 4 Sacramento Kings, DeMar DeRozan would have been a big-time scorer for them. Maybe him and Boogie would have been together. 5 Minnesota Timberwolves, Drew Holiday. Not a franchise point guard, but an above-average point guard. 6 Timberwolves, Wes Matthews. That would be 2 nice little foundation pieces with Kevin Love at the time. 7 Warriors, Jeff Teague. A huge drop-off from Stephen Curry, but a respectable consolation prize. Jeff Teague, when he was at his peak, was above average with the Hawks. Nice veteran point guard right now in the Timberwolves. 8 Knicks, Tyreek Evans. A little bit of an inconsistent NBA career. He was the Rookie of the Year. Then he suffered a lot of injuries and revitalized his career last year, and he was on the Memphis Grizzlies. Would have been interesting to see how he would have been in New York. 9 Toronto, Ricky Rubio. He would have been their point guard. 10 Bucks, Patrick Beverley. He would fit right in with the Bucks right now, believe it or not. 11 Brooklyn Nets. Well, New Jersey Nets at the time. Danny Green would have been their starting small forward, probably. 12 Bobcats, Patty Mills. Probably would have slid in as a starter. Probably would have been their starting point guard, or at least their 6th man right now, if he was on that team right now. 13 Pacers, Joe Ingles. What a story he had become. He was undrafted and then became a vital role player on the Jazz. Imagine him on this current Indiana team with Victor Oladipo and Miles Turner. And imagine if he was the same player as he is now on those Indiana teams with Paul George and Lance Stevenson and Roy Hibbert. He probably would have been like the 6th man off the bench for them. 14 Suns, DeMarre Carroll. Carroll, as a young player at the time, probably would be playing with Steve Nash. And then the Suns probably would have traded him to a contender. 15, the Pistons, James Johnson. Solid role player. Bounced around the league a little bit. 16, Bulls, Taj Gibson. Funny how things work out. Bulls landed a diamond in the rough when they took Gibson later on in the first round in this draft. But Gibson turned out to be one of the better players that panned out in this draft. He was a great role player on the Bulls. Now he's on the Timberwolves. And a brief stint with Oklahoma City, too. 17, the 76ers, Darren Collison. They land Collison with Holiday off the board. Good backup point guard. They probably would have traded him before this current Sixers era. 18, the Nuggets, Wayne Ellington. At the time, the Nuggets had Carmelo Anthony. Ellington probably would have came off the bench for the Nuggets. 19, the Hawks, Ty Lawson. That's their consolation prize with Jeff Teague off the board. Lawson was a great point guard on the Nuggets. He would have been fine on those Hawks teams with Al Horford. And I guess Josh Smith was there at the time, too. 20, Utah Jazz, Jonas Jerebko. That would have been an interesting pick. Jerebko really didn't become who he is right now. At the time, maybe he would have been a nice role player for Jerry Sloan off the bench at the time. And if he was on this current Jazz team, he certainly would be a good bench piece for him. 21, Charlotte Hornets, Brandon Jennings. When he was in his prime, he was pretty good on the Bucks, and then the Pistons overpaid him. And then they let him go, and then he had a year on the Knicks, and then he bounced around a little bit. 22, the Portland Trailblazers, Aaron Baines. Probably would have been the backup center, because at the time, the Blazers had Odin and Aldridge and Roy. And if he was on this current Blazers team, he'd probably, same scenario, off the bench. 23, Kings, Omar Caspi. That's funny, because that's who they ended up picking in that spot. 24, Oklahoma City Thunder, Garrett Temple. Would have been a nice role player for them off the bench. Still would be. 25, the Dallas Mavericks, Milos Teodosic. Would have fit nicely on the Mavs. He would have been a part of the 2009 title team. Or I'm sorry, the 2011 title team. 26, the Chicago Bulls, Gerald Henderson. At the time, the Bulls had Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, Taj Gibson. Henderson probably would be a starter with that group. And then eventually probably would have came off the bench. So that would have been a nice fit at the time. 27, Memphis Grizzlies, Earl Clark. Solid role player throughout his career. Would have been a nice bench piece in that Conley Gasol peak era. 28, Minnesota Timberwolves, Dante Cunningham. He's a nice role player on the Pelicans right now. 29, the Knicks, Marcus Thornton. Has bounced around throughout his career. And at number 30, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Jody Meeks. He's bounced around too. I remember he was on Philly when Doug Collins was there, and then he was on the Lakers when I believe Mike Brown and Mike D'Antoni were there. He had some moments for the Lakers coming off the bench. And he would have been a nice bench piece for the Cavaliers last couple years when LeBron was there and they were going to the finals too. That's it for the 2009 NBA redraft, and that's it for today's podcast. I'll be back tomorrow doing the 2009 MLB redraft, as well as going over any other trades or injuries that go on in baseball or in the sports world. And, of course, go over all the baseball action, too. I hope you guys have a great day, everybody.